Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Jonathan Lindsey. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of reviews or commentaries, reactions, topics, randomness, out of the blueness, pretty much anything, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. I will try to get to it as soon as I can. And he actually paid a little bit more this time, and he requested 2 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Fear of Victory and Appointment in Crime Alley. Both I liked. I would say I like Fear of Victory a bit more, but both were pretty decent watches. But yeah, Batman the Animated Series, so far of the episodes I've seen, has been a fairly good batting average. There's been a handful that I've disliked. The Batman in the basement, getting fucked by the... Uh, who was it? Oh, the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. Yeah. You haven't seen that episode? I don't know. Watch Batman in the Basement. That might as well have happened. Be better than what was on screen. And the Poison Ivy one I didn't care for, but there's been a lot of good ones. Yeah, and the tone of it, Batman being able to punch and be able to be more free. It's funny. Batman and his action scenes in the show felt a bit more free to do what he could than Spider-Man did in some of his 90s cartoon. Because sadly, different censors, different time frames, when they aired, and Batman apparently was more fantasy because of the 30s mixed with modern. That's what one interview someone said. As to why they got a bit more away with censor-wise compared to Spider-Man. I'm like, isn't Spider-Man more fantastical with radioactive spider and shit? But no, apparently in the world, whatever. That's why Spider-Man can't punch. Still bullshit. But yeah, the score, the feel of Danny Elfman's score, done by the great composers. Again, the look of the film has, for the most part, very solid animation. Fear of Victory was a nice showcase for the Scarecrow character. You also have Dick Grayson as Robin, which I'll say is a much better Robin to me than Tim Drake, the little annoying asshole later on in the show. The only time that character worked for me so far is Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, and what they did with the character there. Okay, that was really interesting. Plus the older version you had Dean Stockwell from Quantum Leap voice the character. But here is Dick Grayson, and the fact that he's an older Robin. Granted, I'm a guy that I prefer more Batman solo than with Robin. That's just how I prefer Batman. But between the Robins, I'd rather have Dick Grayson than Tim Drake. I'll just say that. He was more tolerable. Yeah, maybe because he's older or just less annoying, whatever the case. But athletes are experiencing fear, and one of them is good friends with Robin, the Dick Grayson persona, because he's roommates with the guy. The guy freaks out during a football game. Robin's confused. But then when Robin's with Batman, he starts having panic attacks and he doesn't know what's going on. Batman realizes this telegram with this powder, which leads back to the fear powder. I like the animation. For example, there's a point when Robin's freaking out and Batman has to swing. And you get a really nice animation of him swinging through the skyline. And he crashes to this lady's apartment. I like the fact that that the lady looks at Batman and is like, nice. And Batman kind of dumbfounded, and then he smirks, and then he leaves. I thought that was kind of a fun little subtle piece of humor. I mean, Batman's buff. There's gotta be some ladies that like that. I'm like, does she have the hots for Batman? Okay. That made it a bit unique because usually in that situation it'd be the woman screaming. Ugh! The fact that she screams, she's like, oh. She doesn't do that, but, ready to sit on Batman's face. Make some room. They made it a bit different, unique. I appreciated the little bit of a swerve there. And Scarecrow is an interesting villain with the whole fear thing, what it could do, and the fact that the person, what he sees, it could be very creative, animated-wise, to showcase what they see, different monsters or different other pieces of visual storytelling that you can input into there. And also interesting that Scarecrow is doing this to place bets and to win bets. So not only is he evil, he's a gambler as well. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Scarecrow's a dickhead, and he's gambler too. Gonna gamble his ass when he's back in prison. Too bad a ditch going up it. He's gonna cry all night. He don't wanna be somebody's bitch. Scarecrow, be somebody's bitch. He don't be a sissy. Gonna bend over. They're gonna stuff up something. And ain't gonna be a straw. Gonna stuff it up his ass. Until the straw grows tall. It ain't a crow. It's another C. And it's called a cock in your mouth, Scarecrow. Hey, I mean, there's a lot of other movies that talk about rape in prison. Maybe that's how it's in Arkham Asylum. There you go. That's Triple X parody. Arkham Asylum Confessions, like Taxi Cab. Remember Taxi Cab Confessions? Arkham Asylum Confessions. The Joker stuck a fucking magic playing card up Two-Face's ass. But it was football, and also the ending, I like the fact it took place up above a football field, and they're all, in a way, it was kind of more subtle, but interesting. It was this, trying to be more suspenseful, trying to get this test tube of this elixir of fear, and Robin overcoming his fear in order to do it. Not so much a big slam bang action scene. It worked well, especially the location of being the scaffolds above the football game. I think the environment helped quite a bit. When at a fast pace, like I said, Robin wasn't annoying. It an interesting, I don't know, I guess it made sense. Scarecrow, he wants some money. He's an interesting plan to try to rid these games, and he bets against those teams in order to get some quick cash. It's an idea I never would have thought of, but okay, in a weird way, it makes sense. So I didn't mind the story. Like I said, nice animation. Overall, pretty decent episode. Now, Appointment in Crime Alley. Eddie and I didn't think it was as good as Fear of Victory, but it was still interesting on what they were trying to do, where you have a more human villain, Daggett, and Crime Alley is the same alley that Batman's parents died in many, many years ago. And while it is a crime-infested alley, there's still a lot of good people there, and Batman still wants to keep that, not be bulldozed down because people don't be losing their homes, because there are decent people. But the bad guy wants to bulldoze. And if you can't do that, he hires a guy. One of them is called Nitro, and I recognize the voice. The guy who plays Nitro, he's one of the voices of the Weasels in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I recognize that voice. He sounds almost just like one of the Weasels in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And pretty much setting him up to blow up the whole neighborhood, the whole block. Meanwhile, there's this lady who we get to know. Her name is Leslie. She comforted Bruce when he was a kid and his parents were killed, so they have a very close relationship. It seems so close that Leslie knows Bruce Wayne is Batman. So she's one of the few people that Bruce told. So that shows just how much Bruce trusts her. She's in trouble. He has to go save her. Again, the art style, the animation helps with this quite a bit. And it's the little moments that make this work. Like there's a hostage situation and a SWAT guy's like, who the hell do you... He doesn't say hell, but who do you think you... And he sees his Batman and he goes, oh. So I like that even the SWAT teams know not to fuck with Batman. That was a funny moment. I didn't mind the action scene where he's trying to get to this place, and lo and behold, there's a runaway trolley, and even Batman's like, really now? But I liked him stopping the trolley. It reminded me a little bit of Metro with Eddie Murphy, or I think there was kind of a similar scene in Showtime, but it's more a Metro with Eddie Murphy, because when they're trying to stop a trolley that's going out of control. And he's able to save the lady, but the whole block gets blown up and Daddy gets away with it. So it's this thing where Batman wins. He loses, but he wins. Like, he loses because Daddy gets away with it, but he did, save some people. Not just her, but some people from another building. And it had a nice heartfelt moment where Batman goes to spot his parents died. He puts the roses down. And he even says, there's still good people here in Crime Alley. It's a nice heartfelt moment for Batman. Yet again, showcasing why he does what he does, and why he has a certain code that he has. That even though this is an alley that people throw away, even Batman knows that there's still good people here, and he wants to do the best that he can. I think Dad as a villain, kind of indifferent on him. I mean, that's the thing. He's just another human, normal guy compared to Scarecrow and Joker and Two-Face and even Man-Bat and Clayface. Dad is just kind of a typical greedy developer guy. So Daddy, I thought was kind of a boring villain, at least in this episode. I mean, just in comparison with all the other Batman, gallery of villains. Just Daddy didn't really do much for me. The idea of the story, I thought, helped a little bit overcome that. Maybe it'd be nice to get to know a little bit more about Leslie, since she seems fairly important in Bruce's life, and we don't learn a whole lot about her. We know a little bit, but not a whole lot. You kind of get a little bit of info from some newspaper clippings that if you read a bit carefully, you see who she is and what she's about. Once in a while, there's a little bit of convenience. Like, lo and behold, thankfully, some bum, some homeless guy saw these two guys get Leslie and put her in a building, and he grabbed the blasting cap, and he just happened to be where Batman was, and Batman stopped him and saw the blasting cap. He's, oh, I was just trying to sell this thing. I thought that was fairly convenient when you think about it. That thankfully that guy saw it, and thankfully he picked up a blasting cap, and thankfully he was going to try to sell it, and thankfully he happened to be in the one spot that Batman was when he's trying to look for answers. I guess I would prefer a bit more detective work in figuring out where this woman was. Whether, fingerprints, where was she last seen, overseeing the area. I don't know, just, again, bit of convenience in story. But I said the nice little emotional touches at the very end with the roses on the ground, and then she hugs Batman, similar to the picture of when she hugged Bruce Wayne when he was a kid. Yeah, there's a little bit of heart to it. The voice work on Leslie, and of course Kevin Conroy's Batman, the animation. Overall, not bad at all. Not one of my favorites, but not bad. Yeah, of the two, I would say Fear of Victory was a bit more interesting to me. Again, the music and animation is fairly solid. For the most part, in the first season or two, the music and animation seem kind of consistently solid. Again, for the most part. Other than that, yeah, don't know what else to say. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.